Now, we know the Avengers Endgame tickets went on sale on April 2nd. We also know that most of the online ticket sales folks got caught with their pants around their ankles because despite the fact that they've had this happen several times already over the last couple of years, they still weren't prepared to manage with the overhaul enough. Well, anyway, we've known that this was going to set all sorts of advanced ticket sales records, but were we ready for by just how much? Fandango is now reporting that in the first week of advanced ticket sales, the ticket sales for Avengers Endgame has outsold the ticket sales for Avengers Infinity War, not by double, not by triple, but by 5 times. 5 times as many tickets were sold for Avengers Endgame than Avengers Infinity War in its first week of advanced ticket sales. Now, on one hand, Robert, this isn't a surprise. This is actually a little bit expected. We've been saying forever that every single week, more and more people are adopting buying tickets in advance online. That every single year, more and more people, the importance of opening weekend is growing more and more. More and more people try to go see their movies that they're interested in on opening weekends. We expected record-setting advanced ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. But even I will tell you that while I was fully expecting this because of the growing trends and all this kind of stuff, and guess what? Within the next 2 or 3 years, this Avengers Endgame record will get broken too because more and more people will adopt it. But even I, Robert, wasn't really fully expecting, I was thinking maybe triple. I wasn't expecting 5 times the record of Infinity War. That's a huge number. You hear that. What's your first reaction to that? And what do you attribute something like that to?
Well, I just think that Avengers Endgame it's a cultural event. I mean, like it or not, the same way that Star Wars has been a big part of the culture, Avengers, the entire MCU, has become the new franchise du jour for the last 11 years. And, you know, I keep getting letters from people. I got a letter to my website from a kid who was born in 2000. And he talked about the first time he was not a comic book fan, and in 2008, he was 8 years old, and his mother took him to see Iron Man for the first time. Not only did that make him an instant fan of Iron Man, but he started reading comics, and now he just turned 19. I think he probably turned 19 yesterday or even today. And he's like, I've grown up with these people. You know, these people are my people, you know, and I think they're my people too, and I'm 3 times, 4 times. No, not 4 times. Not even 3 times. But I'm older than him. And I think that this franchise, these characters, these actors that inhabit these characters, the stories that they're telling have just become a part of the culture. And with all of our divisive politics and all the craziness that's going on in the world, the MCU represents sort of an imaginative, happy place for the world, where even in the face of universal Armageddon, these people will still fight for us. They will still fight for mankind. And that's who we need today. And I think that I've been saying to you that I think I think there's a whole new group of fans. I think there's people over the last year that have watched this movie ad infinitum, like I have on whether it's on Blu-ray or whether it's on Netflix. I clicked it on yesterday, Infinity War. People are waiting, man. They're primed. This is a global cultural event. And you know what? It's just going to put a smile on everyone's face unless it leaves everyone a weeping mess. And I think it's fantastic.
And of course, unless it sucks. I mean, that's always the other thing too. We always got to keep that in mind that maybe it sucks. Here's the thing I'm going to say about this though. I believe the upcoming Star Wars Episode 9 is also going to outsell Infinity War in advance first week ticket sales. Not because I think people are more looking forward to Star Wars Episode 9 than they were to Infinity War, but because, again, the growing trend, more people try to go see movies on opening weekend, and more and more people are using advanced ticket sales. So I think Star Wars Episode 9 is going to break Infinity War's record as well. I don't think it'll sell as many as Endgame at this point, but I do believe in the next couple of years, this Endgame record will be broken as well. But even with all those asterisks, it's an impressive number, dude. It's an impressive number. It means a lot of people are going out. It shows the growth of this industry as far as people getting their tickets advance online, the excitement for the thing and all that kind of stuff. You know, somebody mentioned this to me yesterday. Well, John, that means automatically this movie, somebody wrote to me and said, you know, 5 times the amount of Infinity War, that means this movie's going to make like $12 billion. I'm like, no, time out. This just means people, instead of waiting to buy their tickets when the movie was coming out, they're just more people are buying them now. But this was an interesting thing. You and I have talked about the possibility of this thing. What are the possibilities of this thing hitting 300 million opening weekend? Now, you and I have both said before that we have our doubts. And I got to say, even with this impressive sounding number, I still have my doubts, because here's the thing. When a movie is sold out, it's sold out. It doesn't matter if it sells out in 1 minute. It doesn't matter if it sells out in 1 hour. It doesn't matter if it sells out in 1 week. When a screening is sold out, it's sold out. That screening can make no more money. And to put this into context, here's the one reason why I still wonder if it can hit 300 million. And I do believe it'll break the new record. I just don't know that it'll hit 300 million, because Avengers Infinity War made about $250 million opening weekend, which is the record, right? To suggest the idea that Endgame can make 300 million logically means that on the opening weekend that Infinity War came out, that there was $50 million worth of empty seats the weekend that Infinity War came out. Now, understanding that the average movie ticket price across America is just under $10, that means for Endgame to hit 300 million means that Infinity War opening weekend had to have 5 million empty seats in their theaters opening weekend. Were there 5 million empty seats opening weekend for Infinity War? I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but it's just the math doesn't seem to line up for a $300 million opening weekend, compounded by the fact that it's a 3-hour-long movie, only so many tickets to go around. But Rob, you said before you didn't think it could get 300 million. You're hearing numbers like this now. Does it make you reevaluate your position on that?
Well, not only we're talking a 3-hour movie, so it's a half an hour longer than Infinity War.
Yeah,
and how many venues are even available in, I guess they include domestic and they include North American box office, so it's Canada as well.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if the venues exist, if the seats exist for a 3-hour film, but if they leave the theaters open, you know, I really do think this is enough of a cultural event that maybe theaters open for 24 hours. Maybe
but they did for Infinity War. They did for the first. Yeah. I remember being at the MC Burbank 16 when like nobody used advanced ticket sales, right? So people were still lining up to buy their tickets at the MC Burbank 16 when the first Avengers came out. And I remember every 15 minutes they were adding new screenings until every single screen in the AMC Burbank 16 was running 24 hours. All 16 theaters, 24 hours it was running, all that kind of stuff. And they were all selling out. And I'm thinking, how many seats are left? How much more money is there to be made? I just don't know.
This is a crazy time. I would like to, just because it would give me such joy if it made $300 million domestic. I would just love that number. But I think what's most important to remember, I mean, we get caught up in the box office. I think what's really great about it is that there's just this kind of excitement for a movie. And not only just a movie, but a comic book movie, a flight of fancy, a flight of imagination that the MCU was able to do this. And that after this is their 22nd film, they've been able to sustain this for 10 years, 11 years. It's unprecedented in Hollywood history. It's certainly unprecedented in my life. And I think what's so awesome about this is it just proves that the power of cinema, the power of event cinema, the power of imagination, the power of superheroes has not been diminished in our culture. Indeed, it's something that brings so many people joy, and that alone is to be lauded. I mean, who's ever done this before? No one. And it's crazy, and I'm excited, and I would love to see it because, look, as you and I well know, money is all that really at the bottom. As much as I talk about, movies mean so much to me. Well, you know what means a lot to people like Mr. Bob Iger, my hero? He texted me just this morning. He's like, did you see the article about Fandango? And I said, yeah, bro, I did. Nicely done, son. Well done acquiring Marvel. But the fact that they're making money, that these kinds of movies, these grand imaginative visions that Kevin Feige has put together over a decade prove that this kind of thing is viable. That means the entertainment business is still doing gangbuster business, unless we not forget with Game of Thrones coming up,
Yeah.
In a mere few days. The imagination in April. I never thought of April as being a particularly imaginative month because my mother's not very imaginative and it's her birthday month. But I'm going to have to reassess my assessment. Man, I think this is cool.
Here's the funny thing, though. When this movie does not hit 300 million opening weekend, and I think there's a shot. But I don't think it will. It's just that idea that there was 5 million empty seats for Infinity War. I can't wrap my head around that. But if it doesn't hit 300 million, here's the hilarious thing. There are going to be detractors of Marvel, detractors of comic book movies, detractors out there going, oh, it underperformed because it didn't hit 300 million. I'm just, as ridiculous as that sounds, I'm just telling y'all, get ready for that. It's going to happen. If Infinity War breaks the opening weekend box office record, its own record, by the way, and makes like an unheard of, unprecedented amount of money, like 275 million opening weekend or 280 million opening weekend. I am telling you right now, there are going to be detractors out there going, oh, well, what went wrong? It didn't hit 300 million. It underperformed. I'm just telling you right now, I guarantee it, 100%. There are going to be fools out there saying crap like that. But anyway, it is really interesting to see this type of phenomenon. You know, people will often ask me, they say, you know, John, why are you so focused on box office? Why is it just about the money? It's not about the money. I keep trying to tell people this all the time. The thing about the box office is that the box office doesn't just tell us how much money a movie makes. That's not what it tells us. Sure, that's one of the things it tells us. What box office also tells us, though, is what is motivating the audience right now. It tells us, what are we as a film fan community getting excited about? It allows us the opportunity to look at the structure of a movie and even by extension, the construction of a movie's marketing campaign and saying, wow, that is really working. Why is that working? Why does this get the attention of us as a movie-going audience? Why are we excited by this and that? Box office numbers aren't just about money. They're about interest and attention and motivation. And it kind of gets in a snapshot, what is it that we as movie audiences are paying attention to? And those things are the things that really fascinate me when we start talking about the box office. And when we put it into context about what we're seeing with Endgame right now, holy crap, it's getting the audience's attention. I mean, people are lining up to go see this thing. It's going to make a huge amount of money, yes, but it's the cultural impact that you were pointing out, Rob, that I think is the really most impressive thing here. So there's a lot of good stuff for us to look at. All right. Listen, we've talked enough about that. What do you guys think about these numbers coming out of Fandango? Jump down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.